Change minds, change lives. The power of mental transformation. The most dangerous prison is the one in your mind. I don't know who first said that, but they weren't lying. And that truth has never been more relevant than it is today. I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Yvette Gaines, a visionary whose work in mindset transformation has created seismic shifts in how Black professionals navigate their careers and lives. Yvette isn't just a coach or mentor, she's a revolutionary who understands that before we can change systems, we must first change the way we see ourselves within those systems. Her ability to combine unflinching honesty with a deep compassion has made her a catalyst for transformation in spaces where Black women's voices have historically been diminished or silenced altogether. We all have that voice, don't we? The one that whispers, "You don't belong in that meeting. That promotion isn't meant for someone like you. They'll never take your ideas seriously." So, for Black women especially, that voice often comes with surround sound and external amplification. But what if I told you that voice is lying? What if I told you that the biggest obstacle between you and your dreams isn't systemic racism, sexism, or any other external barrier, though Lord knows those are real, but the limitations you've internalized and accepted as truth? During my conversation with the vet, she emphasized repeatedly that changing your mindset is the first step toward transforming your entire life. Not the second step, not the third, the first. Think about it. How many opportunities have you talked yourself out of before even trying? How many times have you dimmed your light because you were afraid of outshining others? How many dreams have you abandoned because someone once told you they weren't possible? Too many. We all have. But here's the thing about mindsets, they're not fixed. They're not written in stone. They're more like software that can be updated, upgraded, and sometimes completely rewritten. And the moment you realize this, truly realize it, everything changes. Consider Dr. Yvette Murphy Irby, who broke barriers at the University of Arkansas as its first woman vice chancellor for diversity and inclusion. Her journey didn't begin with a silver spoon or special privileges. It began with a decision, a mental shift that redefined what she believed was possible. After spending 20 years as a social worker, witnessing firsthand the devastating effects of systemic inequities on vulnerable children, Dr. Murphy Irby didn't just accept the status quo. She looked at academia, a field notorious for its resistance to change, and thought, I can transform this. Not maybe I could make a small difference, not perhaps they'll let me have a seat at the table, but I can transform this. And transform it, she did. Navigate both racial bias and institutional inertia, she championed inclusive policies that created support systems for marginalized students and faculty. She co authored influential works on intersectionality in practice. She didn't just occupy a position, she redefined it. But here's what's truly remarkable. Dr. Murphy Irby's impact extends far beyond her own achievements. By changing her own mind about what was possible, she changed the minds of countless others. Today, leaders from underrepresented backgrounds who might never have considered high level roles in higher education administration are following the path she blazed, not because the system suddenly became fair, but because one woman refused to accept the limitations others tried to impose on her. That's the ripple effect of change thinking. One mind changes, and suddenly many lives change. Or consider Dame Yvette Williams, who became New Zealand's first female Olympic gold medalist in long jump. In the mid 20th century, when women were actively discouraged from pursuing athletics seriously, she didn't just participate, she dominated. She set world records. She was eventually named Athlete of the Century by Athletics New Zealand. What made the difference? While Others accepted the limitations society placed on women athletes. Williams refused. She trained relentlessly across multiple disciplines: long jump, shot put, discus, pushing boundaries that others considered fixed. Her mindset wasn't, I'll do what's expected of me. It was, I'll redefine what's possible. And in doing so, she didn't just change her own life, she changed perceptions about what women could achieve globally. She opened doors for generations of female athletes who followed. That's the power of a changed mind. It doesn't just transform your life, it transforms lives you'll never even meet. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. That's great for them, but my situation is different. The barriers I face are real, not just in my head. And you're right, the barriers are real. Systemic racism is real, sexism is real, discrimination is real. I would never suggest otherwise. But here's what Yvette Gaines emphasized in our conversation. Acknowledging those barriers doesn't mean accepting them as definitive. It means recognizing them as challenges to overcome, not as immovable objects that determine your destiny. Resilience and adaptability are crucial for personal and professional growth. Facing challenges with a willingness to learn and unlearn can lead to powerful breakthroughs. Look at the transformation happening on Broadway. For decades, performers of color, especially Black women, faced systemic underrepresentation. Leading roles simply weren't written for them, or so the industry claimed. But a new generation of performers refused to accept that narrative. They auditioned widely, they advocated boldly, they created space where none existed before, and gradually the landscape transformed. Today, diverse talent headlines national tours, wins Tony Awards, and tells authentic stories on mainstream stages. These performers didn't wait for the industry to change its mind about Tumelo. They changed their own minds about what was possible, and then they made it happen. As Maya Angelou wisely said, you may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeat so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. This isn't just about positive thinking. It's not about ignoring reality or pretending barriers don't exist. It's about refusing to let those barriers define what's possible for you. It's about recognizing that while you can't control every circumstance, you can control how you respond to those circumstances. You can control whether you see them as definitive statements about your worth and potential, or as temporary obstacles on your path to greatness. During our interview, Yvette Gaines shared a powerful affirmation that has guided her journey. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. This simple statement encapsulates the essence of mindset transformation, acknowledging reality while refusing to be limited by it. The third key insight from our conversation was perhaps the most powerful. Empowering yourself empowers others. When Black professionals model change thinking, they set an example that ripples through families, organizations, and communities. Think about it. When you refuse to be limited by others' expectations, you give permission to everyone watching you to do the same. When you pursue excellence despite obstacles, you demonstrate what's possible to those who share your background and experiences. This is especially crucial for Black women who often find themselves handed pink slips while watching underperforming colleagues receive golden parachutes. In a world that consistently undervalues our contributions, choosing to value ourselves and our capabilities becomes a revolutionary act. It becomes a statement not just about our individual worth, but about the worth of every Black woman fighting similar battles. I'm reminded of Audre Lorde's powerful words. When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid. That's the essence of what Yvette Gaines conveyed in our conversation. When you dare to change your thinking, when you dare to believe in possibilities beyond what others have defined for you create a path not just for yourself, but for others to follow. So, what does this mean for you, practically speaking? It means catching yourself the next time that voice in your head says, I can't. Pause. Ask yourself, what if I could? Try one thing this week you've been hesitating over just because it felt out of reach. It means recognizing when you're limiting yourself based on others' expectations rather than your own capabilities and desires. It means questioning narratives about what's possible for someone like you and writing your own story instead. It means understanding that resilience isn't about never falling, it's about rising every time you fall, learning from the experience, and moving forward with new wisdom. And perhaps most importantly, it means recognizing that when you empower yourself, when you refuse to be limited by others' perceptions or by past experiences, you create ripple effects that extend far beyond your own life. I want to leave you with this challenge. Today, identify one belief about yourself that has been limiting you, one narrative you've accepted without questioning, one boundary you've internalized without challenging, and then deliberately choose to reject it. Replace I can't with how might I? Replace that's not for people like me with why not me? Replace I'm not ready with I'll learn as I go. Because the truth is, the most profound transformations in our world have always begun with a single changed mind, a mind that dared to see possibilities where others saw only limitations, a mind that refused to accept the way things are as the way things must be. Your changed mind could be the catalyst that transforms not just your life, but the lives of countless others who are watching you, learning from you, and drawing courage from your example. The prison of limiting beliefs is powerful, but it is not impenetrable. The key has always been in your possession. Use it, free your mind, and watch as that single act of courage ripples outward, changing lives in ways you never imagined possible. The world is waiting for the transformation that only your liberated mind can create.